Greed is one of the great obstacles to man's spiritual and moral growth. He who has greed is never satiated. He becomes incapable of distinguishing right from wrong. He becomes a stranger to his own friends and well wishers. His life comes to resemble a ship without a rudder on a stormy sea. In the story, the sinner Mitra Vindaka is a victim of greed. He rejects the good advice of his mother. Though he has 2 million, he wants more. To this end, he decides to trade on the seas. When his mother tries to stop, he smites her. Even when the other sailors put him on a raft and let him adrift on the seas, his eyes are not opened. He finds happiness with the spirits of the dead. He falls so low as to envy the man in hell who is carrying the razor wheel. Thus, he brings the wheel on himself. By the time he realizes that he has brought suffering on himself through his greed, nothing but death can save him. When Brahmadatta ruled Banaras, there lived in that city a very rich merchant who had a son named Mitravindaka. This Mitravindaka was a wicked unbeliever. After his father's death, his mother tried to persuade him to give alms, practice virtue, and follow the dharma. The boy turned a deaf ear to his mother and refused to change his way of life. On a full moon day, the mother said to Mitravindaka, "Son, it is a holy day. There will be preaching all the night. Take the vows, go to the cloister, and listen to the law. When you come back, I will give you 1,000 pieces of money." For the sake of the money, Mitravindaka consented. He went to the cloister, but instead of listening to the law, he lay down in a corner and slept. Early in the morning, he washed his face and went home. The mother, who was expecting her son to return with the elder who preached the law, prepared food and awaited them. She was disappointed to see the son come alone. "Why did you not bring the preacher?" she asked. "No preacher for me, mother," Mitravandaka replied. He ate his food and took the 1,000 pieces of money from his mother and went about his business. Soon he gained a sum of 2 millions in trade. With this money, he speculated, "I shall buy a ship and trade across the seas and make more money." He bought the ship, loaded it with cargo, and went to his mother to tell her that he was going on the seas. "You are my only son," said the mother. "You have so much money. What more do you want? It is dangerous to go on the seas. Please do not go." Mitravindaka, however, insisted on going. His mother caught him by the hand and entreated him to stay. The boy struck her down and was gone. Soon he was underway. The ship sailed for 7 days on the sea without a hitch. But on the eighth day, in mid ocean, it became immovable. Lots were cast in order to find out which one aboard was the cause of the mishap, and Mitravendaka got the lot. Thrice the lot was cast, and all the three times Mitravendaka got it. Let us not perish for the sake of one, the sailor said to Mitravendaka. You are the cause of trouble, so leave the ship. They gave him a raft and cast him adrift on the sea. At once the ship sprang forward and was gone. Soon the raft took Mitravendaka to an isle. There he found a crystal palace in which four female spirits of the dead lived. 7 days they spent happily and 7 days in woe. For 7 days he lived with them and was very happy. Then, when their week of woe began, he got on to his raft and went away. He went to another isle where he saw 8 spirits, lived with them for a week, and when their week of woe started, went away to another isle where he lived with 16 spirits, and yet another where he lived with 32 spirits. Leaving them, he went on his raft across the sea till he came to a city with 4 gates and a wall. This was Usad Hell, but it looked beautiful to him. I shall enter the city and become its king, he thought. He entered the city and saw a man with a razor wheel on his head and 5-fold fetters on his chest. The wheel cut into his head. He was bleeding and groaning with pain. But to Mitravendaka, he looked like the king of the place, the wheel like a lotus flower, the fetters like rich vesture, and his groans like sweet music. He approached the man and said, Let me also wear that beautiful lotus on my head. You have been wearing it long enough. Sir, this is no lotus, said the man. This is the razor wheel. Ah, because you don't wish to give it, Mitravendaka said. You say so. This man is here, thought the tortured man, because of smiting his mother like me. He has come to release me. Must be I have paid for my sin. Then the man put the razor wheel on Mitravendaka's head and departed. By and by, Bodhisattva, who was king of the gods, came there on his rounds with a large retinue. He saw Mitravendaka with the razor wheel on his head and the 5-fold fetters on his chest and halted before him. O Lord, Mitravendaka asked him, how can I get rid of this razor wheel? The king of the gods replied, You had money, but you wanted more. Your desires were never satisfied. Even when you did a good deed, it was only out of selfishness, but not out of a pure heart. You lived with 4 spirits, then with 8 spirits, 16 spirits, and finally 32 spirits. You never cared to tread the highest path of human being. You rejected the friendly advice of the man who was bearing the razor wheel before you and brought the wheel on yourself. Now you want to be saved. No one except death can save you from the wheel. Then the divine being departed, leaving Mitravindaka in misery. Thanks for listening. Son, it is a holy day. There will be preaching all the night. Take the vows, go to the cloister and listen to the law. Cloister, cloister means a convent or a monastery. This man is here, thought the tortured man, because of smiting his mother, like me. Smite, smite means strike with a firm blow. The ship sailed for 7 days on the sea without a hitch. But on the eighth day, in mid ocean, it became immovable. Lots were cast in order to find out which one aboard was the cause of the mishap. Cast a lot means decide by lot. Lot means make a choice using random selection methods. Let us not perish for the sake of one, the sailors said to Mitravindaka. You are the cause of trouble, so leave the ship. They gave him a raft and cast him adrift on the sea. Cast adrift means to abandon someone, leaving him without support, guidance, or direction. But to Mitravindaka, he looked like the king of the place, the wheel like a lotus flower, the fetters like rich vesture, and his groans like sweet music. Vesture, vesture means dress. Thanks for listening.